I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's the baby.
Because I was like, look, I told you not to let that. My brother's working. He not. Yeah, later.
Good evening. Okay, there's Shabaka. Come on, Shabaka. Dang it, he's still playing willing. Good evening. Thank you for tuning in to season 2, episode 14 of the Frontline Black News. I'm your host, Che and Kruma. I'm joined by my other host, Lady Che. And our guest tonight is my Sister Bianca. Queen B is in the house. And we will be joined with Shabaka once we get his technical difficulties under control. It's just pinwheeling right now. And we will be discussing several things tonight, Black family. The first thing is, of course, a staple on Frontline Black News, and that is Tangibles 2022. The next thing is President Joe Biden signs bill giving reparations to non-FBA New Mexicans for radiation exposure. Atatiana Jefferson's trial update. Juneteenth festival weekend in Denver, Colorado. Marcel Dixon losing South Carolina primary, District 6 of the House of Representatives to Lord Jim Clyburn. And Unhoused Neighbor News and Unhoused Neighbor Sweets. So I'll start us off. This is the year, the decade of tangibles. We are demanding something tangible for a vote. So any politician that's seeking your vote, including myself, because I've officially filed to run for mayor as of April 4th of 2022, and the election is April 4th, 2023. And we're going to try to get Shabaka on a different way. Hold on. Is it gonna work with this plugged in, or should I unplug it?
Yeah, unplug it.
Okay.
I
Did you disconnect from the speaker?
Yes.
Bluetooth connected.
So we're gonna get Shabaka on the phone, Black family. So give me a second.
Hello.
Shabaka, we're on the air.
Okay.
So we're going over Tangibles 2022 right now. So I must have put it up on the screen.
Okay.
To give our viewers a refresher course on what that is.
Right.
Since we are in election season.
Okay.
Tangibles 2020. Okay, so Tangibles 2020 was started by a brother named Tariq Nasheed. That's Mr. Hidden Colors, and several other things. He even has a book out called Foundational Black American Race Baiter. And what we're going to focus on tonight is the tangibles. So in the year 2020, when we were going through the presidential elections, the brother came out with this hashtag Tangibles 2020. And since it's 2022 now, we're in the midterms. We're going to change it to the midterms because it's still relevant in 2022. So the 2022 midterms are coming up, and foundational Black Americans are going to reject the 50-year-old malign neglect policy that has been implemented by the political system.
Right.
I hear. Oh, you're echoing, Shabaka.
I'm echoing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, hold on. Let me see if I can do something about that. Okay. All right, hold on. Because I got it on the other phone.
Oh,
okay. Okay. Is the echoing gone now?
Let me see. Yeah, it's gone now. This malign neglect policy mandates that Black Americans should be ignored and only mentioned in vague and non-specific terms. Lumping foundational Black Americans into groups with minorities, immigrants, people of color, etc., has only hindered the progress of Black Americans as a group, while providing tangible benefits for other groups. In this election cycle, in the midterms, Black Americans are going to insist that our needs are specifically met by politicians who are seeking our vote. Foundational Black Americans want tangible benefits. Specifically for us, we do not want trickle-down secondary benefits that are provided for every group.
Right.
Every group has not been systematically marginalized and disenfranchised in every area of society as foundational Black Americans. So we refuse to be lumped in with groups that often assist in the exploitation and disenfranchisement of Black Americans. So politicians must offer tangibles, specifically the foundational Black Americans, or we simply will not vote for them. Be sure to spread this message far and wide on social media using the hashtag Tangibles2020. So, Black family, that's exactly what we've been doing here on Frontline Black News, Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced, and the Revolutionary Agenda. We've been spreading this hashtag far and wide for the past 2 years. Last year was Tangibles 2021, and now this year is Tangibles 2022. And this is going to be a marathon, not a sprint, Black family. This is going to be a decade-plus long fight. So, once again, any politician that is seeking your vote, demand something tangible for your vote. Stop just voting just to be voting, Black family. Demand something that's concrete, something that's real, something substantive, something you can count, measure, feel with your own hand, i.e. a check. Cut the check. Reparations is due. $100 trillion for past, present, and future atrocities that have been brought against our people and continue to be brought against our people in 2022.
Yeah.
So we'll let Shabaka go first. What are your thoughts, Shabaka, on Tangibles 2022?
Okay, yes, sir. On that, as you specifically and eloquently pointed out, Brother Che, is that every other group has received some type of recognition, contribution, or what have you, or some type of compensation that is real, meaning something that you can see, touch, and feel as a tangible. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Except us.
Yep.
Okay, and as the executive producer of Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced, and we're part of Frontline Black News as well. We're the West Coast correspondent for Frontline Black News. I endorse it. You see, something specifically for us, but however, we're systemically played out of it. You see, and then you got to keep in mind, it is the mindset of the slave mentality that has been transferred on down from generation after generations. Hold on.
Okay.
Well, we're coming to you from Los Angeles, California tonight, ladies and gentlemen. As they say, this is Los Angeles. Anything can happen here. And this is the meat wagon rolling out, right? Looks like they're getting ready to go scrape up another motherfucker out here.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? And, but it is what it is. Now, this is the only, what you just witnessed with that siren signifies what goes on here in South Central LA, just like it does in the 5 Points of Denver, on the west and south side of Chicago. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, the madness of it all. I go through driving through the city of Compton, you know, supposedly it has a history of a black city administration. Them are some of the worst potholes in Los Angeles County you're going through. If you got you a car driving through Compton, California, you might as well take it and drive it out there on the desert. But once again, there you got something going on. That's the fire department, you know.
That sound like over here, Shabaka.
Well, sir, this is Los Angeles. Anything can happen here, okay? And that's for real, okay? So, but anyway, when it comes to tangibles, we need something that have generational wealth, upward mobility, and also to securing our own infrastructures of water, electricity, and air quality.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then also too, on some more tangibles is that I saw that out there that the city of Manhattan Beach, you know, there was a situation there where a black family had owned the land out there and they took it under eminent domain, as Brother Paris had mentioned. And, you know, and the heirs of the land got it back. Out here in Los Angeles, reporting from LA, the homeless situation of black men, you know, is just bad. And then just looking at the homeless here, you can just see the acquiescence of a whole 2 and 3 generations that just gave up. And I mean, like in the last 40 years. It's like a fallen rock, not only here in Los Angeles, not only in Denver, but as our East Coast correspondent of Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced, Brother Isaiah has said, the same thing there on the East, as well too, communicating and partaking on other podcasts and platforms. I'm hearing the same shit that I saw in Atlanta, and it's all black men. Is what I'm saying. And these guys are, you know, all old in my age group, but a great deal of them, or the core of black men who are out there in that situation, are the ones who are still in their productive years, like the 20s and 30s and early 40s.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that is to reinforce more so, you know, of the premise of tangibles, you know, 2022, 2023, 2053, 2100, you know what I'm saying? And beyond that if necessary.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
A marathon, not a sprint.
Yes, sir. And then we can't let up, you see.
No.
And also, too, what we got to do is have better educational opportunities that we do for ourselves, for our youth and the babies.
Yeah, that we create and that we control.
Oh, indeed. You see, indeed, you know, and don't be telling little babies that, you know, some fat ass white dude wearing a red suit every Christmas came and dropped something on you. You see what I'm saying? That is from your mom and daddy's hard work and your loved ones.
Right. All right, let's hear from the Queens. Let's hear from the Queens, Shabaka.
Yes, sir.
Thoughts on Tangibles 2022, Lady Che.
I think that since we're moving into this
shout out to our viewers,
2023 political season here in Denver, I believe that with the candidates that are running, I feel like we here at on the small little portion of the black media here in Colorado and Denver and on the black grassroots, that we should strive to be better with our message, you know, and you should expect tangibles from us. You should expect change, justice, different things versus what you've had, versus what this city has had for the last 30, 40 years. You know, a lot of things need to change, and you should expect the next level of administration here to come with something different, to create a different environment, to provide a way for people to be, of service, or, give them some incentive to better themselves. There's so much work in the city, each community here in the city of Denver, at least in our city, knows what they need. They know what they need, and the politicians that are running for, the mayor and the governor and whatnot, they should be able to know what the people need, and be able to give them that with realistic expectations, realistic time frames, and be able to assert a certain kind of demand for that change. Because if not, we're staying in the same position that we're already in. It's just a lot of hot words. It's kind of glamorous, but it's just word salad. It doesn't mean anything. Symbolism, and why have that? Right now, when you're asking for tangibles is realistic change that you can fucking feel, touch, see with your eyes, that is going to happen for you specifically, your community specifically, at its pace, like with realistic time frames. You should want to see that. You should be able to ask for that with the candidates that are running now. It you have to demand it now at this point, because if not, all we're doing is leading our future, our children, into the same mess we're picking up from our predecessors.
Right.
So tangibles, or no, or nothing,
Or no vote.
or don't vote. If it don't suit you, don't benefit you, not gonna benefit your family, the community you live in, then it's not worth the vote. You know what I mean? Hold your vote till you get something tangible. And like Jesse said, cut the check. No need for all this study. Now you need to know, do the math and cut the check. You know what I mean? For California, make their regulations, the way they're supposed to, where they're supposed to be, because California will be the trendsetter.
Mm-hmm.
And here in the city of Denver, there has to be something created for reparations here. For the people that are here, for the descendants that are here. And with Jesse's platform, should be able to reimagine or imagine an active or immediate action task force like that to, create that. Every state's gonna have to do it. That's what it seems like, right? All 50 states will have to pick up a reparations task force.
Because they all had slavery.
Right. So Denver will be no different. Everywhere you are, family.
Even though Colorado was a free territory.
Yeah.
They still have slaves.
Yeah, that's why they call it the Centennial State, because it was admitted to the United States in 1876.
Yep. 100 years after the Declaration of Independence was signed.
Yeah, it was 100 years after the Declaration of Independence is when Colorado became a state. That's why they call it the Centennial State.
Yep.
I like that. I thought that was kind of cool.
Okay, let's hear from the Queen Bianca. What did you have anything else to say about that? Bianca, what are your thoughts on Tangibles 2022?
Well, definitely in full agreement with everything that has been said so far.
What do you want to see in your next administration?
I definitely, for one, especially working with the education system, would like to see more of our schools in place.
That's
We definitely need a proper education for our children, so they have the proper, they're provided with the proper perspectives, and they also know what to look for and what to ask for from this country. It's definitely a marathon, like you said, bro. But it's more important, like I said, that we educate ourselves on what to ask for, what to look for, the things that are actually going to sustain our communities, and have us more self-sufficient.
mm-hmm.
There are so many what pizza parties that they offer us.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
There's so many pizza parties that they offer us when
Yeah.
we're asking.
And collard
For-
greens and
Yeah,
neck bones.
you know, and we can't be swayed by that. Just like with this Juneteenth celebration, this national holiday now, looking at that, that's not any type of form of reparation whatsoever.
And that's not tangible.
And it's not tangible. And even with the Maya Angelou,
That's symbolism.
That's all symbolism.
yes, it's all it's so we have to really make sure that we're not being swayed or persuaded to settle. There's
Right.
no settling at
No.
this point.
No.
If, like you said, no tangibles, no vote.
Yep.
You know, and we have to say it with our chest
Right.
and mean that.
Yes.
Stand on it, because there are so many things that they're gonna try and present us. You know, this is for the low income, and they'll say generalizations like that,
Broad
knowing
ambiguous terms.
knowing that a majority of their middle class is now in that category.
Mm-hmm.
So
there is no middle class no more.
exactly, you know, so we got to really look at the logistics of everything. We have to make sure that it is practical and logical, and it will actually make a benefit for us.
Right.
You know, there has to be more specifics. You know, we can't fall for the low income or
they're black like me, or
yes,
vote blue no matter who.
We cannot fall for this. So as long as we keep a steadfast mind about that and know what we need to ask for, educate our children on what they need to be looking for from this country, from any of their representatives, I believe that we definitely can get this done within the next 10 years.
Yes. I concur.
So that's my piece on this topic, and I look forward to us moving forward with more specific and detailed conversations regarding, you know, further future steps.
Okay. Thank you, Queen Bianca.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Randy
indeed.
has a question.
No.
Oh,
I was
cool.
asking such a big question.
Oh. Okay, so I'm gonna move to the next topic, and that is a Biden signs bill giving New Mexico 2 more years to fight for nuclear exposure reparations. Oh, I thought he actually gave it to him. Oh, he gave him 2 more years for nuclear exposure, but we're still waiting to get our reparations.
Yeah, well, you have to also look at the fact is not only for our reparations, but look where all of a lot of our people who served in the military, of the exposures that they got to various elements, you know, from water contamination, and of course air contamination, and of course, you know, the black service people who served over there at the end of World War II, when they dropped those atomic bombs, you know, which was the precursor to the nuclear age. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And then on top of that, then you had the space age. Now you're in a high-tech age. You see what I mean? That evolved off of, what do they call that? That was in the 1980s, the memory chip age.
Well, shout out to Vernus Williams. Thank you for tuning in.
Okay, and then two, as it progressed, you know, how should I say, as far as high technology is concerned, and using a lot of radiation and nuclear waves, the 5G towers that you have right now.
Well, you remember we were fighting to get that 5G tower removed from my godmother's barbershop.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay, and were you successful in its removal?
No, they said it's above the mayor, it's above the governor, it's on the feds.
Yeah,
Everything's federal.
a federal
Okay,
level.
so then the first stop of that would be the U.S. Department of Energy, I would think.
Yeah, or the
Yeah.
FCC.
Uh-huh. Or the Environmental Protection Agency, too.
Mm.
And then I think I posted it up on my wall of the 5G tower that I saw sitting in a palm tree.
Yeah, but let me get to this article, Shabaka, and then we'll discuss it. What?
Yes, sir.
So, this is from Yahoo Life. It says Biden signs bill giving New Mexico 2 more years to fight for nuclear exposure reparations. The bill signed Tuesday by President Joe Biden provided federal funds to help with medical bills for New Mexican uranium miners contaminated by radiation for another 2 years. Also allowing more time for those living at the Trinity site at Amagaro, I think that's how you say that, to advocate they also be included in the reparations.
What?
Mm-hmm.
What is it?
Okay.
So
what's happening is once again, as the feds are deviating from the specific tangible
That's a
using
deflection
the term
tactic.
reparation.
yeah,
But once again, they're giving it to everybody else. But keep in mind, I can understand, the radiation poisoning. But keep in mind, how many black folks live out in New Mexico.
right. This is not going to benefit us.
Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, it's not. You see what I'm saying? And then, our sister Bianca was saying, as something, for us also too, getting to our youth and their formative years, to change the mindset or the trend and our economical development of doing for self as opposed to this other bullshit that they want, trans this, trans that, and all that.
Yeah.
Man.
Believe me, I definitely, like I said, working in the school system, I'm seeing it all. And it's like our children have to not be so bombarded.
Mm-hmm.
There has to be a focus point for us as a people. And we need to be able to provide that for our children.
Right. So the article continues to say the 2-year extension of the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act, or RECA, co-sponsored by U.S. Senator Ben Ray Lujan, Democrat of New Mexico, passed the U.S. Senate and House this year and was signed into law ahead of its previous sunset date in July.
Mm-hmm.
This those impacted by whoever wrote this, they need to proofread this. Those impacted by radiation exposure from federal operations can continue to receive cash payments up to $100,000 for uranium miners and other associated workers, $75,000 to workers on site during nuclear weapons testing, and $50,000 for those living in communities downwind of the Nevada test site.
And all that is all ass backwards to me.
Where the fuck is our reparations?
Why wouldn't the people get paid the most?
Right, but we could make the claim for reparations for thanks to the Interstate Act. If you want to talk about environmental racism and downwind of testing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, to reinforce your position on that even more so, Brother Che, is that here in the hub city, I recall years ago where the mayor Omar Bradley and some of the city politicians were arrested by the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office for allowing the Aluminum Corporation of America to come here and dump, metallic waste here in the city of Compton. By the schools and all of that, the children, when you had a lot of blacks here, the children were affected by it. You see what I'm saying? Health-wise, respiratory problems, things of that nature right there. Plus, you got the refineries, due south in Carson. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Shell is mainly out there. And that there, is not good living, more chemicals and whatnot. Then, of course, as we know, the situation with Flint, Michigan.
I mean, all that
water
is
crisis. Yes, and generally, these types of infrastructural social ills, and this is what I mean about water systems, electrical systems and what have you, impact us, more drastically than it does, other groups. Now, before they come out there and say, well, we're all the same, and it's that, there, the other. No, we're not.
Have them go out to Death Valley.
That we're all not the same.
Have them go out to Death Valley like that cracker went out to Death Valley and ran out of gas and died in the desert. I gotta finish reading the article, Shabaki. So the downwinders presently included in the funding were in Utah, Nevada, and Arizona, impacted by weapons testing since 1951.
Right, after World War II.
Mm-hmm.
In go ahead.
In 1945, the first nuclear weapons in the U.S., part of the Manhattan Project, were tested at the Trinity site in south central New Mexico. But no New Mexicans living downwind of that site were included in the RECA payments. Advocates from the state and those living in nearby rural communities like Curzonzo long argued they should be eligible for reparations, as many said their families suffered from migrant cancers and other health problems associated with the Trinity site. And that's him biting, tapping old boy on the shoulder.
Damn.
Eugene said upon signing the extension that it would provide more time to right what he called an injustice against his constituents. Oh man, there's more to this article. Being sworn in as senator, it's been a top priority to ensure that this critical program does not expire. With the president's signature, we avoided that injustice, he said. But this fight is not over. The federal government must do right by all Americans whose lives were impacted by radiation exposure in a national defense effort. And I will continue working to expand this program to include all affected downwinders and post-1971 uranium mine workers. The record program should be strengthened, Luan said, to compensate New Mexicans and all Americans still living with the consequences of nuclear fallout. A strengthening record program would deliver long overdue justice for families in New Mexico and across the nation who know the pain and sorrow caused by radiation exposure, he said. Tina Cordova, founder of Tulsa Rosa, Basin Downwinders Consortium said she and others from the area felt that pain firsthand. She said every day at the consortium, the audience is audience to stories from New Mexico families racked with generational stories of terminal cancers caused by the activities at the Trinity site. And the federal government has so far done nothing. Cordova, although she said the signing of RECA's extension provided rare progress for the cause. It is essential. Without that, in about a month, the program could have sunset, and we would be out of time and out of luck, Cordova said. Aside from granting the RECA more time to be expanded, Cordova said could also said could whoever wrote this oh my god uh, could also raise awareness for the plight of New Mexicans downwinders among leaders in Congress and the White House. The only good thing, other than what it then that it gives it 2 more years, is that everyone in Congress and the president knows that records. She said about records. She said where we've elevated this to a national issue. We finally have attention. Cordova said her group has worked to see bills expand the program to include New Mexico's downwinder communities for 12 years without success. Innocent people living in New Mexico were sacrificed to this program. People have been suffering ever since, she said. We were exposed and sacrificed with no acknowledgement, no assistance, with our government completely looking away. We can't give up. We're closer now than ever before. We're going to continue to make this a national issue. And we're going to continue to make our reparations a national goddamn issue.
That's right.
There will come a day when we can no longer look away. That effort most recently took the form of a Senate bill co-sponsored by Lujan, along with similar legislation in the U.S. House of Representatives, sponsored by U.S. Representative Teresa Lager Fernandez, Democrat of New Mexico. The Senate bill was last read in the Senate Committee on the Judiciary September 22nd, 2021, and no action was taken since, records show, while the House version passed out of the House Judiciary Committee on a 25-8 vote, December 8th, 2021. All it takes is one conversation with downwinder communities to see the injustice these communities face. Ledger Fernandez said following the vote, the RECA amendments will ensure that the program does not lapse, as well as fair compensation for the communities left behind. Oh, I hear myself in the background. For decades, no Mexicanos have suffered the long-term efforts of nuclear testing and uranium mining on our lands. Finally, that article is over.
You see?
Yeah. Yeah. So basically what it is they're so quick to go out here, and keep in mind they deserve it, because radiation poisoning, from what I've read, both short term and long term, the afflictions and all that stuff that comes from that, like every day.
Yeah.
So what it is as bad as that is, and that they deserve, to be compensated, for their injuries, the United States does not want to recognize some of the mass atrocities that it committed on people of African descent. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, foundational Black Americans or what have you, or
Yes.
the slave trade and things that and whatnot, the brutalization of that, and pointing out people here, the brutalization of the plantation system, and not only on the physical plane, but also on the mental plane and on the spiritual plane as well, too.
Yeah.
See, you know, just like when it came to buck breaking, they would make it a point that when they broke the spirit of a black male through various horrible and psychotic means and what have you, they always had the next generation of males, preferably little boys or what have you, you know, the young males, you know, witness this brutalization that would happen to like their father, older brother, what have you, or any slave in general. You see what I'm saying? To keep them in mind to strike fear and so. And what that is, you know,
you talking about the buck breaking
time that went on. This is what has contributed, in my opinion, to the self-hatred that we have for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And as you so well have stated over the years, Brother Parrish, you know, the Stockholm Syndrome.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You see?
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what it is. And the sad part about it is to show how really fucked up it is, you know, it's to be expected. It's normality now.
Yeah. So
that's the sad part about it.
So look like they're gonna give reparations before us.
Yeah. You see? But it is so programmed that they got it that any individual, you know, who would be like a Nat Turner or a Dr. King or the X-Man or what have you, you know, you want to sit up there and say that this individual is mentally incapacitated.
Yeah.
You see? Or, you know, it's full of hate and what have you. Say, man, you can only kick a dog so many times before it's going to turn around and bite you. You know what I mean?
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Say, when you sit up there and abuse another living being, okay, and if you don't think that living being that you are abusing doesn't have some type of animosity or will not figure out a way, you see what I'm saying, the kind of man what you're doing to him, you're crazy.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. You're crazy. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's hear from the Queens. What are your thoughts on the radiation exposure New Mexicans getting reparations?
First of all, I don't think I ever heard that term, New Mexicans. Yeah, this is crazy to me. I think you shouldn't have to be exposed to radiation. Like, period. And yeah, give them what they ask for. What's the holdup? Like, radiation causes brain damage, cancers, infertility, cancer.
Yeah.
Infertility.
It's systematic population control.
Yep.
Yeah, it's genocide. It's environmental racism.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It goes under a whole bunch of things. So give them what they're asking for and let them move or give them something else. Like, fix them, you know?
Before or
make them
after
whole.
us.
Before or after us?
Yeah.
It's radiation, and yeah, you're right. Obviously, we should come first, but it's radiation. It's kind of like a weird balance right there. Like, should they get cancer while we're waiting for it?
How about the radiation we were exposed to?
So that's true too. It's like I can't really say, Jesse.
How
I
about
can say
the lead
on
that used
a
to be in the
constant
gas.
Yeah, I can
basis.
say you're right. I can say that too. It's a good argument. It's like, man, you are like, are we gonna be enabling the genocide too?
We didn't get compensated.
Because they were using black neighborhoods as dumping sites.
Right. So it was like, I look at it like this. We're currently right now. That's crazy. Would you want to live in a radiation place?
No,
right now though, while we're waiting, because even the Mexicans, there's still black people in New Mexico.
I mean, like where Swansea is, that's a dump site.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And back in the day, it was definitely much worse. And so for them now to be doing so much construction in that area, they never treated that land whatsoever. So now there's a new level of exposure.
Mm-hmm. And they make the highway go underground and put a park on top.
So your argument is that they should wait as long as we wait.
I mean, we've been waiting for 100 years.
Yes, but I mean, right now, like
what they want to be compensated from happened, what, 1945?
Okay. Well, I don't know. Like,
my thing is,
I don't want that
yes,
on my
you don't, and that's something that they kind of depend on too.
Yeah.
That we as a people put other needs first.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But I don't know how to feel about it. Like, I mean, honestly, I don't know how to feel about it.
I mean, I don't see them sponsoring no bill or no program for us for reparations. It'd be one thing if he was like, yeah, we're going to do this and then we're going to do that too.
Well, I mean, for us to have, we definitely need to have more organization in order to put those types of
policies together.
Yeah, policies in place.
I don't know how to feel about it.
I'm thankful for you having me on the show. I gotta take off. I don't like driving late.
Thanks for coming.
So.
Yeah, thank you. Shabaka, say bye to Bianca. Bianca's about to leave.
Thank you, Bianca.
You all right? Peace, brother. It was wonderful to have be on the show with you.
All right, well, thank you so very much for joining us.
Thank you. See you tomorrow. Yeah. I love you. Be safe. I'll take over, Jesse. Go ahead and walk her out. Because once you walk her out, I'll take her out. It's late. It's crazy. I can take it for real. What's the
next topic is Juneteenth.
Yeah, okay. Family, Brother Che is gonna walk out our sister so she gets to her car, safely because it is dark. I'm in a bad area. So I'm gonna take over for a few minutes.
Well, you're in no worse area than where I am at.
That's pretty live over here, Shabaka.
Same.
It's like it's really live over here, Shabaka. It's just like being in like the softer part of East LA.
I've been through
It's live.
Well, out there in Montebello, they had a police shootout over there with somebody ambushed, a couple of sheriff's deputies over there.
It's quiet right now, like usually we would have heard like 5 gunshots by now. Easily. Anytime I'm doing a show, you don't heard like 5-6 gunshots during the show. You know what I mean? Now over here in my area, every day it's like if they cracking off, or you'll hear the police and the ambulance all up and down my street all day long.
Yeah, well, a couple of days ago, about a week ago, I was coming in to where I'm at now, and they had some dude stretched out with a sheet over him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They could punch.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy.
It was through.
I know they celebrated Juneteenth in Cali, right?
They celebrated what?
Juneteenth.
Well, out here, no, they didn't, but I do believe that they are scheduling something for Oakland, California that I saw over the net, up around, the Lake Mad area, and I'm quite sure they're going to have something over there in Defremery Park as well, too. And I did come across that they're supposed to be having some events going on here in Los Angeles as well. So, I'll definitely reach out on that and report on that.
Yeah.
Is because we did promise, our listeners and our viewers and our supporters that on Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced, we will be taking it, to Hollywood about how they degrade us, how they want, black men to be feminized, walking around with dresses on. And
I got so much to say about that. I watched this documentary. It was called What is a Woman, right? And it was a white guy that did the documentary. And he, it was actually pretty fucking good. The moral of the story is that it's created, it was really like a white person thing, because that's really white people. And basically they're the ones that put this weird ass idea in people's minds that you could just create whatever, you just be whatever, you can assign yourself whatever gender you want, basically. And we just have to eat that, accept it, and work with it, talk them through it, and
Right.
you're not the gender, because where I come from, I'm Generation X, so I believe the gender is a boy, girl, period.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you maybe have a little bit more of a dominant female and maybe a softer male. Maybe he's a little emotional, right? But not enough to where you say, "Oh, you're fragile. You need to be a girl." You got to swill it, but you're gonna be a girl. No,
Well,
this is like something they created, and they've been promoting it everywhere, right? This movement, this agenda, it is an agenda, and it's only meant to siphon money for all these little surgeries and tests and this whole identity thing. It's all part of an agenda, and it doesn't behoove us, and it creates a lot of dysfunction in the documentary. It showed where people were there was boys being experimented on, being experimented on, being like it was switched up, and one, the family had twins, and there's a crazy little doctor. The doctor decided, well, I'm gonna make one a boy and one a girl, and the one that was made a girl, he didn't know that he wasn't meant to be a girl, and he was unhappy, and he ended up killing himself. You see what I'm saying?
Well,
Yeah.
see, that is
No,
part of the
we're just
mental
bullshitting
fuckery
just
on that.
Yeah, we're just talking.
And, no pun intended. But what this is confusion.
Yeah.
That they want to
It's creating
implant,
confusion.
in the children.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Right.
And
It's created
particularly,
though.
when you see this type of stuff, it leads to one thing: genocide.
Yeah.
You see
Right.
what I mean? Okay, it is what it is. Same thing with this COVID shit. You know what I'm saying? The same
Right.
thing with these trans confused ass motherfuckers out here. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's part of an agenda, but it's a created agenda.
And then when we speak up about this, you know what I'm saying? And it
Mhm.
says, "Oh, well, you guys are
Transphobic.
phobic of that." But as I stated before, I think that all these individuals and all these motherfuckers are heterophobic. Okay, that's my opinion.
You still got
You
the
know
bet,
what I'm
Shabaka?
Do I still have the what?
The bet. They said the bet.
The bet.
Do we still have the bet?
Yeah.
No, man. We didn't take the bet. You know what I'm saying? But I'm on
No,
the
not that
again.
bet. Not that bet. The bet about
Whether they could produce a female cycle, a female moon cycle. You know what I mean? And then they're a woman. You know what I mean?
Make a bet. Wait a minute. Okay, I'm
We
a
got
little
our
confused.
$100
Okay.
bet.
remember the $100 bet?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that still
Right.
on?
Yeah. No, okay. Oh no, I'm going to reapproach him again. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to have it more. We're going to have it more organized than we did because we had technical difficulties.
No, not that bet. Not the marathon
transgender
bet. The
bet.
transgender bet.
Oh, yes. Yeah. The individuals out there, of that lifestyle, when you can prove your bona fide, menstrual cycle, okay, you know what I'm saying, with no additives, you know what I'm saying,
Right.
or no modifications.
I mean, in this documentary, Shabaka, nobody had a realistic answer. And me, I'm like the whole time. The question was, what is a woman? And if you would have asked me, I would have said it like this: a woman is a person that has a moon cycle. Their hips widen and can have babies. Goes through the cycle of women's bodies do different things than men.
Right.
To prepare themselves for one day giving birth, even if they don't give birth. They go through certain cycles, right, that are natural You can't give a man hormones and expect his hips to spread out. You know what I mean? Because that's a natural part of a woman. You know, that just happens. That's a genetic thing, right? You know, yes, men have breasts, you know, but it's different. Men are not supposed to have milk ducts like that. You know what I mean? That produce the life sustaining nutrition for a growing baby, you know? A woman has their own they have their own genetic code. What is it? Y is it G? Y is it X's or something like that? X's. Well, yeah, whatever it is. We have this. You have that. There's no intermixing, okay? This is what you came with.
Right.
You know?
They call it gender assigned.
Yeah, no. If you see a swilla, if I have a baby and my baby has a swilla, regardless of the size, right?
That's a boy.
He's a boy. I'm gonna call him. I'm gonna give him a boy name. I'm gonna call him son. I'm gonna tell him nice things about. Oh, look how handsome you are. You know, I'm gonna dress him like a boy. He's gonna be a boy. I don't give a damn what he says. Okay. From the time he comes out of my body, I see a swilla. He's a boy.
Right.
You know, when he turns like 18, 21, he wants to fucking play dress up. Hey, that's his problem. He don't live in my house. You know what I mean? But if I have a little girl, she don't have a swilla, but it's a little girl, she got the little cane, that's a little girl. She gonna wear little dresses and shit. She gonna have a little girl name. She gonna grow her hair long. She gonna be a little feminine. Hopefully, you know what I mean? Even if she wanna wear dresses and play basketball, it's still gonna be a little girl.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm not gonna say, oh, look at my little girl. But right when she come out, your name's gonna be Hector. You know what I mean? I'm gonna look at her right when she comes out. I'm gonna look at her when she comes out.
Well,
like,
now,
you look like a Frank.
Now, what is it in the state you're in, Shabaka, California? You can put on the birth certificate X.
What?
Yeah. Because I think we reported on that when Newsom has signed in the law. Is that they're not going to put the sex of the child
so you put any of the motherfucking alphabets on there? For real, cuz?
You can put an X, right?
I'm sorry,
isn't that what they said? You can put an X.
Yeah, some shit like that.
But this is a fucking treasure hunt.
So all thing I know is this.
This
if
is a
this
John Doe
motherfucker
thing,
sits
dude.
down and
Sign
says
your name,
it's the
John
woman.
Hancock.
If he has to stand up and piss, it's the man. Period.
Right.
Yes.
And I don't give a damn what he's wearing.
Right. He's a boy.
Right.
Like there's a man. He said, "What's a man?"
Man, every time that individual has to go to the bathroom,
that old white man said he had a dick.
Is going to do one or two things.
Yeah.
It's either going to sit down or it's going to stand up.
Right. Yeah. And I'm going to treat it as such when I see it. It's not going to be no abomination.
And
when my
I don't
baby come out,
to be so vulgar about it, but I'm just telling the truth.
And I can tell.
Right.
Like, I think that if you got to look at your kid and be like, I wonder. I think you know, even if you got a swilla, I'm going to give you a neutral name like Aaron.
Oh, my God.
And you're going to be binary or fucking non-binary. And asexual question mark and a happy face. That's what you're gonna be. Fuck that, cuz he got a swilla.
Like
your name is John.
What's her face?
You got a little kid.
Madonna.
Your name is
she adopted a black child, a black boy, and she raising him as a black girl.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
That's stupid, man.
And so is the white movie actress
right
from South Africa, Charlize Theron or Theron, I think.
Yeah.
You just got a kid to torture.
You know, adopted a male child from Africa, gonna raise him as a girl.
Isn't that torture?
And even closer to home with Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union.
Isn't that torture though? Like, I mean, you get a kid from another country and you just gonna give him a whole new gender and put him in a dress and shit.
That's modern day buck breaking.
Like, why would you do that?
That's exactly what it is.
Give him a chance.
That is exactly what it is, sir.
Right. Exactly. From start.
It's buck breaking. You see, and what it is that you have to look at the fact
that's oppressive,
that
right?
it's systemic.
Yeah.
See, that's even worse.
It's in the educational system. It's in the kids' formative years. You see what I'm saying?
They get mad bills passed, dude. For this
bullshit like drag queen story
oh
and
God.
shit. To find out that these dudes were child molesters.
Yeah, a bunch of chomos.
Look, I don't care what a person does in this day. Huh?
saying your connection is unstable.
Oh shit!
Well,
Well, let
it's
me get up
probably
off the
'cause
street.
of the-
Now I'm hearing
look at the thing.
gunfire.
Oh shit.
Now don't get shot. Lay on the ground. Look
No,
at that thing.
that's why I'm taking my ass on the inside.
Is the ice on it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that did it.
Well, it's supposed to be got a whole bunch
Yeah.
of windows.
Like Ice Cube says, hell, the strong even die in South Central.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So
So about Juneteenth.
no, hold on. There's another topic before that.
Mhm.
Atatiana Jefferson.
Okay, what's the story on her?
That's the sister that I believe she was involved in the no-knock raid, and they ran up in her
Oh,
crib and shot and killed her.
And she was unarmed.
This was like 2 years ago.
Is this the young woman where they went into her house and they murdered her while she was asleep?
No, that was Breonna Taylor.
Oh, okay.
But this sister they murdered too, and the officer that killed her is on trial.
Aw.
Okay. Is he facing murder one?
I haven't read the article yet.
Where's this at? Just
Okay.
This is in Fort Worth, Texas.
fuck.
Murder trial against Aaron Dean to proceed as scheduled after judge denies latest delay request. So he tried to delay it. It looks like Dean is accused of fatally shooting Jefferson, Atatiana Jefferson, while responding to a welfare check at her home in October 2019, according to the police. So it's been about 3 years now.
Okay.
Or can read for people with reading
There's
difficulties.
a video.
For some people, reading can be a challenge. With Or Can Read, just point and click.
The works of Isaac Newton.
Read for school.
Let's deal with this stupid ass ad real quick.
Jesse,
Huh.
could you please pass me my ashtray and the lighter, please? Thank you, love.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you. Thank you, baby. Carry on. Carry on.
Atatiana Jefferson's family is
Can
waiting
you hear
over
us,
2
Shabaka?
years for the man charged in her death to go on trial. In those 32 months, demonstrators have demanded justice in her name. But the case has been delayed several times, right up until a couple weeks ago, when Aaron Dean's defense team asked for it to be postponed again. But later this month, they'll start selecting a jury for the former Fort Worth police officer's murder trial. But today there was yet another hearing on this case in Fort Worth, and Tanya Iser was there for it. Tanya, it seems the judge is set on starting this trial in June.
Ready to fry him.
Well, that's right. He certainly is. If I had to describe the judge, I would say he was very testy and pointed. The defense attorney's arguing that they've got cases set in other courts and that they just cannot go to trial right now. But the judge just wasn't having any of it. Last month he did delay the case for about 6 weeks because the lead defense attorney, Jim Lane, is sick and in the hospital. But he reiterated again today that if Jim Lane is still sick, later this month, the case will have to proceed. The defense attorney is also bringing up that some of their expert witnesses will not be available during this trial setting time. And the judge said, well, that's not part of the motion, and he didn't want to hear any of that either. So let's take a listen to some of what the judge has to say.
I'm not going to dictate the schedule to this court, Mr. Will. First of all, you have alleged potential conflicts. You have not alleged an actual conflict. This case is set June 21st. You will be in trial in this case, the state of Texas versus Aaron Dean.
Good.
As you can tell from the judge's tone, he seems very serious about this trial starting later this month. Jury questionnaires will be due June 10th. And in those questionnaires, we'll get a sense of what kind of questions will be asked of potential jurors. Jury selection is scheduled for June 21st with testimony to begin June 23rd. Another thing that the judge said today that I had not heard before is he is planning to have this trial span weekends, which is a pretty extraordinary thing. He's also said and reiterated again today that he plans to sequester this jury once they go to deliberations.
And Tanya, I know there's been a long-standing gag order in the Dean case. How did that become an issue today?
Well, it did. It became an issue at the end of this hearing today. So that gag order applies to the defense attorneys, the prosecution, any witnesses, and those witnesses' attorneys. So the defense attorneys basically asked the judge to hold Lee Merritt, who's one of the civil rights attorneys, in contempt for having given interviews to the press. And the judge said he would probably consider it during a June 13th hearing. Back to you.
Change the game. You have to reimagine what's possible.
Okay. Yeah, I outlaid everything. Just another video.
We're learning a lot more about Aaron Dean and getting insight into what his legal defense could be if this case eventually goes to trial. Here's Kevin Reese.
Aaron Dean.
We know that Aaron Dean was a police officer in Fort Worth for only a year and a half, that he's 35 years old and a graduate of UT Arlington. Other clues might have come from his Facebook page, but it has been deleted, is no longer online, although not before the general public found it. I guess you thought no one would find this page, one person wrote. Death threats and vulgar language posted by people who did find the page came next before it was taken down. There is no answer at his home, and his legal team sought through the combined law enforcement associations of Texas, says at this point it has no comment either. His lawyer, however, is the same that represented former Ball Springs police officer Roy Oliver, who is now serving 15 years for the shooting death of 15-year-old Jordan Edwards, a passenger in a car leaving a party back in 2017. As for what the Fort Worth officer's defense might be for shooting into Atatiana Jefferson's house through a backyard window,
she was completely in a legal position, in the right position to be.
Attorney and former Judge Rob Conyas, who is not involved in the case, agrees with Mayor Betsy Price.
The gun is irrelevant
when it comes to the gun found inside the home. The arrest affidavit released Tuesday says Jefferson's 8-year-old nephew told police that because she heard noises coming from outside, she took her handgun from her purse, pointed it toward the window. And because of that, Kanye says the officer might try to claim self-defense.
But I don't think it's going to necessarily save him in court. She did have a right to have a firearm in her house. There are noises outside her window in the middle of the night. It's totally reasonable for her to have that gun.
But as we've seen in other recent cases, it may take a year before we hear the officer's explanation and the rest of the body camera video in court. In Dallas, I'm Kevin Reese.
That's why the judge wants to get it over with.
So shout out to Professor Blacc Truth for bringing this to our attention, because I almost forgot all about the trial. But we have we've done shows on it in the past, Black Family here on Frontline Black News. So, and I think we did on Mile High News too. So that's the update on that. What are your thoughts, Shabaka?
Okay, on that, we're very, very interested in doing a story on that whole entire case. Also, too, with Sandra Bland and Breonna Taylor.
Yes.
Okay, because all of these women, that were murdered, based on what I've reviewed over the years, the stories that we have done on it, on our podcast, in which you're the co-host, Brother Chan Krumer, the future mayor of Denver, Colorado, 2023, Jesse Paris. Okay, is that you see a pattern going on here, ever since Mike Brown was killed by Darren Wilson.
Yeah.
There in Ferguson, Missouri. But it's kind of like when they killed Mr. Garner, they overdosed cigarettes in New York City.
Yeah.
And in these cases, like with Mario Woods up in San Francisco, what happened to Mr. Zell Ford here in Los Angeles, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And whatnot, not to mention the long history ago, generation ago, no justice, no peace, the Rodney King situation. Also too that they got a recall against the district attorney here in Los Angeles County. That I came across, in newspapers. And they're saying is that he's too soft on criminals and what have you. But with the long history of police abuse, not so much here in Los Angeles, but throughout the whole entire state of California.
Yeah.
Once again, they don't want to hold these individuals accountable. And then all these officers, like your Chauvins, your Darren Wilsons, the other ones, goes on and on and on now.
Daniel.
I hate to say it. Yeah, these individuals, are walking away unprosecuted. They say at least Chauvin and that crew in Minneapolis, what they did to Mr. Floyd, and of course, hearts definitely go out to their family.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And whatnot. It just goes to show once again
don't forget about Buffalo. We definitely can't forget about Buffalo.
Indeed. And then of course in Buffalo and what have you. But once again, this reinforces the theory that they had when they had the slave patrollers.
Yep.
Listen.
Yeah, and all these folks are working with law enforcement, even these so-called lone wolves.
Yeah, all that. You see what I'm saying? Whether directly or indirectly, they were still upholding that premise of keeping the black male suppressed, keeping him in his place. You see what I'm saying? Now what they have done, that I've witnessed in the last 50 years of my life, is because 1972, which was 50 years ago, was a peak year. Of Black Pride. You saw the RBGs and the Naturals and Afros everywhere.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Even just look at some of your old TV series out of that time period, or look at some of the films that were made there. But then keep in mind is that they have done a lot to suppress certain facts. Okay. All of us are familiar with the cartoon news network called CNN. And I recall where they had about a 10-hour series or 5-night series of all the major news stories of the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s, right?
I think,
and it's very, very interesting that they would show you, of course, they showed, the brutalization of the police dogs and the fire hoses against our people, right?
Yeah.
Dr. King, what have you, the civil rights movement. Okay. Now I'm talking about the 60s.
Well, yesterday we was definitely paying.
Sorry.
Yeah, but they admitted, Ali's refusal and, the Black Panther Party at that time, out of that. Now, the one mention of that, and the reason why I'm mentioning that is because I remember as a child, that's all you saw on the news was the war in Vietnam, okay, and the Black Panthers, demonstrating or having, issues with social changes with various law enforcement agencies and judicial agencies throughout the country. You see. And a lot of them, were acquitted and falsely arrested, which was big news then. And I'm talking about if they're going to show, the news or the major news at that time in history, you see what I'm saying? Just like how they do in contemporary times. Make sure you got shit accurate.
Right. Oh, man.
And they did not show. And then the key point of what I'm getting at is that they did not show a strong black male image that you had at that time.
Yeah.
They didn't even mention John Carlos and Tommy Smith raising their fist at the 1968 Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
See? And I'm talking about they chose to omit major events in our people's history and our youth. And your generations don't know nothing about it, but you should know about it.
Right.
See, you know, and as Dr. Newton said on the Sally Jesse Raphael show back in the late 1980s, anytime that you take away the slave image of the black male, you're going to scare white people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And in my opinion, if white America feels that way, frightened by that, that's your own phobia.
Right.
I say because what it is that, you know, that these were black men standing up, Dr. King, Malcolm, Huey, all of them, you know what I'm saying, standing up as men. You see what I mean? You know, even Malcolm had said that. And as we recalled in even some of our speeches, his speeches that we played on that platform and historically, is that the most unprotected woman in the United States of America is the black woman. Yes, they did everything to get the black male or the black father figure up out of the home.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And that is very, very essential in the development of as boys grow into men.
Right.
Yes.
So I got to do something real quick, Shabaka, because I don't want to have this video taken down. So, fair use YouTube. Don't start that madness
From the start of the show.
From start till now. Fair use for content and educational purposes and criticism. News reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Okay, continue, Shabaka.
Yes, sir. And glad you brought up research. Now, there's certain elements, okay, that they have taken out of Black history, of the Black empowerment era 50 years ago, that is very, very essential, that is needed today. And I believe, you know, that it's possible to get Black manhood back and on track. You see what I mean?
Right.
And that's only going to happen one way, and that is with Black men unifying. Commercially, politically, economically, you see what I'm saying? Educationally.
Yeah.
You
So
see what I'm saying?
we're gonna hear from Lady Che, and then we're gonna go to the next topic. Lady Che, go ahead.
I think that the judge is doing the right thing. Speeding it along. He seems very irritated with the man. So, you know, all we can do is hopes and prayers that they get the justice that they're looking for. Either way, that man should never be a police officer. Ever.
Well, not that he should never be should have never been a police officer. You know, they should have weeded this dude out in their screening process.
Correct.
And the reason why I'm mentioning that is because Brother Parrish is running for mayor of Denver. And at the local level, I believe the mayor is the chief executive at the municipal level.
Yes.
So, okay, and if the city charter or the city articles of Denver allows the mayor to fire, you know, rogue public officials, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm quite sure Brother Parrish will not have a problem doing that.
No.
Better hit me.
Because you got, you know, as Huey and the boys says, point number 7, you got police brutality.
Mm-hmm.
There's an immediate end to it. You see what I mean?
Right.
And then when you get these assholes like Shittenhouse and deranged ass motherfucker there and Buffalo.
They want us to think he was deranged.
Killing group type of motherfuckers. You see what I'm saying?
They always want us to think they're crazy.
Yeah, exactly. But if we had our own infrastructures, you see what I'm saying? And make ourselves, you know, dependent upon ourselves as opposed to other groups. You see what I'm saying? And not only domestically, but internationally on the continent, you know, throughout all of Pan-Africa. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
that's the only way we're going to save it ourselves as a people. You see, so we should be focusing on that. This is just my opinion, Shabaka saying Corey's opinion.
Yeah.
You see, it's essential to our very fucking survival. Right. A very essential part of our existence.
Yep.
See.
Okay, so
and then as Lady Che had pointed out, you know what I'm saying? If the baby comes out born, with a Johnson, it's a boy. You know what I'm saying?
No matter what size it is, the swiller is a swiller. He's a boy.
Well, Lady Che, all that, I wouldn't discern that, but it is what it is.
Boy's gonna be straight. Don't worry. He's a swiller though. That's a boy.
But all this mental fuckery, that Hollywood has, with this propaganda and this Tinseltown imagery bullshit. You see what I'm saying? And all these hidden agendas.
If I had a son right now, my son would be all right. He's gonna get circumcised. He's gonna be all right. You gotta know he's a boy. He have a boy name. He gonna come out with little boy clothes. You know what I mean? I'm gonna comb his little hair over. It's a boy. I don't care what he says. I don't care what he says. He can't say shit to me. He just came out my body. Swiller, boy. Little kid, girl.
It's
They complicated the scenario. Now you can just put an X there. The fuck is that? Next thing you know, you can be able to put your own race down. You know what I mean? Everybody can claim whatever race they want. You can just put any race on your baby's birth certificate, any gender, call it whatever. You know what I mean? And then rock with that the whole life. As long as you're raising them. That ain't even right. What are all these rules for? And we're not even going to live by them. All of a sudden, we're going to change the rules, the natural order of things.
Yep, that's what they want to do.
That's fucking crazy. I mean, I don't care if you want to, if that's what it is at the end of the day, your lifestyle is this. Who am I to judge? It's none of my business. I don't care. It's not my business. And I'm just going to say that you shouldn't program a baby to be something it isn't, and then rock with it, confuse it its whole life, to where it's emotionally messed up, to where it's got to be a therapy or even go as far as gender reassignment, whatever the fuck that is. You know what I mean? Like, no, man, no. When you turn 21 years old and your body is physically, grown enough to make its own choices, you could mentally think for yourself. Live in my house. Do whatever you want, man. Do whatever you want. I have to accept it. I'll have to accept my son turning into a woman. I guess, but he's grown now. He'd be like 20-something. Hey, you did whatever you had to do. Whatever. I guess I'll call you Georgina. You know what I mean? But that's crazy. He didn't start out that way.
Right.
You know what I mean? I knew he was a little boy.
Right.
Little boy was wearing little boy clothes. And, later on in life, they make different choices. But it's not me pushing my desires for hypothetically, my first son to be a girl. No, I wanted boys. You know what I mean? Like boys first and then a girl. I don't want my little girl to be protecting her little brother. No, a little brother's supposed to protect his little sister. Kind of like a natural order. Big brother's supposed to protect his little sister. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, brother. Yeah. There you go, Jesse. Thank you for recording that for me, baby. Thank you. You know where I was going with that. There's nothing transphobic or homophobic about heterosexual people on the natural order of things, especially when it comes to the Black family, and reinstating that wants and desires for a man and a woman, Black man, Black woman, to have beautiful Black babies, and let them be the gender they are, so they can make their own decisions. Yeah. You know what I mean? Seriously. I'm not going to call my son Gene, Jill, or whatever the fuck they call him, Yeah. I'm not going to do that. That's wrong. And that's wrong. And ultimately, whatever God they believe in, they might be punished for that kind of menacing. That's menacing. That's torture. You're torturing somebody unnecessarily, maliciously, for your wants and desires. Let them choose when they get old enough to make those choices, and that should be what 21. We're smart enough to make our own decisions, right?
Yeah.
So there, I would leave it at that. It's not fucking break the wheel and reinvent it, and now it's a fucking diamond. It's no longer the wheel. Stupid. And how many? Dude, in that movie, baby, we watched the documentary, right? Where he's like, "Well, what's a woman?" How many letters and different terminologies for all these different identities for that? And we don't have that. Look, you're a black man. Me, multiracial woman, black first. You feel me?
Yeah.
But I'm a woman, black first. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Woman, man, simple. Why complicate it?
They want to change the whole definition of gender.
Even they were confused. All the adults were confused except for two.
Yeah.
Two of them or three. Those three that were on the right page. No, this is wrong. This is what this was about.
Yeah.
No, this we don't agree. But if I say I don't agree, they fire me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They call me homophobic or transphobic or some sort of phobic. No, it's not. There's no phobia against a person,
right? Or
their lifestyle choices. The thing that's wrong is
it's the agenda.
Is the agenda and the force on the children that they may not be feeling that.
Mm-hmm.
They may just want to be a little different, like wear different kinds of clothes, but they may not want to change cut off their swilla and turn it inside out and make it a little cave. Come on now, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Let them choose later
when
they get older.
In that documentary, remember there was that woman that supposedly became a man, but was like, I'll never be a true man. I'll never be a real man.
That was crazy. Well, that was an honest statement because no matter how much she felt like very masculine or very male, like she knew ultimately whatever how I'm going to say it is going to sound offensive.
Just say
the
they.
Lady, or I don't want. It's not trying to be offensive. I'm not trying to be funny. The person's identity at that time, they regretted it. It was a regret ultimately, right? It was a regret, and they saw what is happening now with adults pushing their wants and desires and agenda onto the new wave of little millennials and the whatever the generation is after that. They're pushing a crisis of you gotta be whatever you want to be, whatever social media,
whatever you feel like.
Yeah, all of a sudden I want to be a lion. Remember that one person was like, I'm a wolf.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? No, you just like wolves, and you just feel kind of close to it, but you don't have to embody the whole thing.
Right.
Just be man. I like wolves. They're all over my room.
All right, so I got to move the song because we still got topics to get to. So the next topic is Juneteenth Music Festival here in Denver, Colorado. We didn't go today, but we plan to go tomorrow. Here's the video.
I have my thoughts, family, on this. Is that if you were in Denver and you're a Denver, that's what they call it, Denverites, right?
Denverites.
Okay, so you're in Denver, you're a Denverite, a native. Then you know about Juneteenth, and Juneteenth used to be a black affair. Okay, and especially in historic 5 Points, the East Side, whatever, City Park, they had little events everywhere, and it's black event. I mean, there's black people everywhere. Beautiful black people, hands in, community, vendors, there was good food, there was happiness, music, occasional little drama here and there, but the streets used to be so packed that it was for like me, I remember when it was like a week. Yeah. I remember when it was like 3 days. Yeah. There was times where it was longer than that. Mm-hmm. And this was just a time where, Juneteenth, June 19th, is not really something, we should be excited about, right?
Yeah.
Because it was a lie. And now that they made it a national thing.
2 years later.
Yeah, now it's a national thing, right? It's a holiday.
Yeah, it's a national holiday.
In my mind, they just gave us back to the master.
It's a national and a state holiday.
Right. In my mind, hey, you're released from his from being a slave, right? 2 years later. But now that we made it a holiday, it's like you gave us right back.
Yeah.
Generations later. That's how I feel about it, in my opinion, right? So this is a form of symbolism where they're like, give them Juneteenth. That's their day. We've already been kicking it and gathering together here in Denver before that was even a fucking thing.
Right.
So, but the community, when it was black, before all this gentrification and COVID, people it used to be like the streets would be jam-packed and you probably have maybe an elbow worth of room as you walk down all up and down Welton and all around, and you go to the park, you go out through the library, and, there's music and bands and there's people everywhere. It's beautiful, beautiful thing, and it lasted it felt like forever. It was beautiful, right? Mm-hmm. Occasional little drama, whatever. 3 hours later, it's back to being cool again, right? So this time, or last year, this is what happened. Last year, me and Jesse, we came to fences blocking off our neighborhood, which is that, okay? Mm-hmm. Which is 5 Points to the east side. Fencing, right? Mm-hmm. And a fucking security guard that he wanted to act like he was going to let us in. Yeah. We bogarted that and went in anyway, because we don't wait in our own neighborhood. What the fuck? Well, it was all white people. Yeah. There was like maybe 3 white people to every 1 or 2 black people. Mm-hmm. It was a sea of whiteness. And then it got worse, right? So I was very upset. Me personally, I was very upset with Juneteenth. Because we shouldn't see them. Right. Period. They used to be scared to go there. Yeah. Right? Now that there's no fear, they can just do whatever, right? Uh-huh. So we should have seen them. But if you're going to go, spend money with the black vendors. Don't just scoff at them and turn your nose up and act like you own that area. That shit was offensive to me. Yeah. So I didn't want to go. I was waiting for Brother Sharif Ali to put up a video because they said there was going to be 56,000 or something like that. Some big number, right? Of black people, which sounds good. In all lessons, we would love to see that at 5 Points, especially since it's like a ghost town or nothing but white people. Mm-hmm. So we would. That's a gift that there's gonna be that many people, right? Yeah. Well, this year the same thing happened, except there was more black people there. I believe from the video we saw. Mm-hmm. However, it started at noon. The parade was when?
The parade was at 11.
Yeah. Okay, so parade and then noon. By the time the first video went streamed, it was like 4:00, and that was a long time. I was sitting here. Jesse was gonna go, but we ended up not going. But I was waiting for the video because I was protesting it. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to go. I saw the way he locked the man who did it, Norman Harris. Yeah. I felt like he locked up all of fucking 5 Points. Yeah. It was so secure. Like there was no opening. There was nobody there. They were gonna have guards at the gates. They were gonna be searching people. They didn't want no drama, right? Mm-hmm. And I felt like there's no way. The way they were making it seem that the disabled people weren't gonna be able to get in, right? They were gonna have issues, blah blah blah. But the one thing I was really concerned about was I didn't want to see white people. I know it sounds prejudiced, but I don't want to see white people because I really don't. It's just not my thing, right? And if you know me personally, they don't like me anyway. So I didn't want to see them, and I want to hear music. I was practicing my 2-step and my shuffle all week long because I was thinking, baby, we're going to some jams. Me and Jessica going to dance. We're going to listen to music. We're passing out Jesse flyers. We're going to commingle, hug our friends and family we ain't seen because they moved to the suburbs. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's going to be great. And it was dead for a while, and then there's a good number of black people there, more than the Jazz Fest. But there were still handfuls of white people. Yeah. And that shit was like, whatever. But every picture they took for the news, white people. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this is not an all-inclusive event. Right. This isn't even be an event. But my thing was, we'll see. It's 2 days. I didn't like the way they locked up everything. It made us have to make choices on how we're gonna come in and how we were gonna develop a route.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that took out a lot of the fun for me. So they have a good performance level. I felt like the people that put it on, it was all about money.
Yeah.
The whole thing was filled with vendors when they did the walkthrough.
Yeah.
A sea of vendors.
Mm-hmm.
And you're expecting a large amount. And I wonder if they met that quota. I really do today. I feel like it was very hot, and it was a good turnout from what the little video Brother Sharif put up. That was great, and I was very excited about that. It made me want to go. And it's really crazy, but I waited all day to see Brother Sharif's video. And I felt like Brother Sharif is the interview man. He's everywhere, you know?
Yeah.
And hey, Brother Sharif said, hey, look, come down here, family. I want to go. You know what I mean? Hey, his word is gold. I want to go. You know? That means it's a Black event.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I wanted to see. And so tomorrow, last day of Juneteenth and Father's Day. Happy Father's Day if you're a father.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll be. I hope. I'm gonna try to manifest that it is a Black event, and that we see people, the vendors make good money, and there's happy faces, good music, and the community and family. And that's all I want to see. Because I grew up in that area. I was a little girl in the system in that area. My whole life being around there, and for me, it would be a beautiful thing if it would go back to like it was pre-COVID.
Mm-hmm.
I don't appreciate the gates.
Mm-hmm.
I don't appreciate the lack of parking. I don't appreciate the way they fenced us in. And the reason I don't, baby, is because you see how they fenced the homeless in?
Mm-hmm.
What did they do with the homeless, baby?
They swept them.
Right, to do this event.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because 5 Points has sections of homelessness.
Yeah.
Right? But to do this very expensive event, all the homeless people are gone.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And heavily policed.
Yeah.
And the way the fencing is high like the ones they use when they come to do this encampment sweeps. And my personal comment was, I feel traumatized by this. Because, you know, I have a right to feel like a little traumatized by this visual. Mm-hmm. We can't get to your godmother's shop if we wanted to.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like if me and Jesse wanted to go visit his godmother, she has a shop right there. Well, it's fenced off. We can't get by there. If I couldn't get by there, Jesse's not skinny enough to get by there. You know, like there's no skinny width that you can walk casually. We'd have to hop the fence and like what, shimmy your way through the door?
Yeah.
That's crazy. There's no way. They blocked it off for blocks even in the middle sections. They had, you know, it's terrible. I think that's wrong. I do appreciate that they had 3 separate events in that area, like Mo Better Greens was there.
Yeah.
And they had the little park section. Mm-hmm. And she said, hey, it's open right here.
Yeah.
You know, she was more open to being, here, community, come here. Go this way, it's safer.
Yeah.
You don't have to get frisked and, you know, manhandled and forced to pay something to get through or whatever the problems are.
It's free.
Yeah, they say it, but remember, he did say you're going to have to pay for parking over there.
Yeah.
They try to promote that for the 80 accessibles.
Yeah.
I was like, hell no. He's crazy.
Okay, let's hear from Shabaka because I think you're going to pass out on this.
Okay.
Shabaka.
No, I'm still here.
Okay.
No, Los Angeles is still in the house. I'm still here.
Okay. What did LA do for Juneteenth?
Okay, so far, you know, I see more celebratory events, you know, heading toward, you know, for those in the Latino community here. But I do believe is that they got something scheduled for Lamarck Park. Is because over there every weekend, you know, they always having the festivals over there and things of that nature right there. But it is extremely low scale from what it was, you know, that I recall, you know, like I said, you know, 50, 40, 30 years ago. You know what I mean? I mean, they would have events over there in the Crenshaw district and it would be jam-packed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and particularly like when they would have the community
gentrified.
concerts and stuff like that. You know what I mean? You know, from the LA radio personalities of groups who are established and those on their way up and things of that nature right there. But, you know, when I look at, you know, just changing the subject briefly, you know, back on these systemic police killings, you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, little Tamir Rice, I mean, Sandra Bland, you know.
We just talked about Atatiana Jefferson.
Yeah,
okay, talk about who?
We just talked about Atatiana Jefferson.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You see, you see, and it's kind of like, you know, as the years go by, it gets more and more worse and more and more, how should I say, acquiescence, you know, by mainstream media on it.
Yeah,
where this is happening so common now that this is now is just the norm.
Commercialized holiday.
You're right. You're right.
It's been corporatized and commercialized.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't belong to people.
Exactly. You see, and this is a tragedy. And once again, what they have done systemically that I've witnessed in my lifetime over the last 10 to 15 years, definitely in the last 5, where they are pushing, you know, their agenda, you know, as we had mentioned earlier, and not having those strong black males, morally right, you know what I'm saying, and physically and right, and mentally right, and developmentally right. You see, you know, as they transition, you know, from adolescence off into adulthood. You see,
the best time to
you know, nothing is ingrained in us for self-sufficiency.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was going to read this article real quick.
Say that again?
This is a short article I wanted to read real quick.
Sure.
So we were talking about Juneteenth being a national holiday. So this holiday recognizes the day, June 19th, 1865, that slaves in Texas learned of the Emancipation Proclamation, which granted their freedom 2 years earlier. It has now become a day of celebration with food, music, and Black culture. Anchoring this weekend's events is one of the nation's largest celebrations, the Juneteenth Music Festival, taking place Saturday, June 18th through Sunday, June 19th, in Denver's historic Five Points neighborhood. The 2-day event is headlined by artists Dave East and Twista, and includes a parade led by Grand Marshal Dr. Daddio. The festival also showcases local Black businesses, in addition to local performances, food, murals, and a Sunday service featuring gospel performances.
Oh, that's my favorite.
The recognition by the state and federal governments has contributed to the growth of Juneteenth celebrations across the country in recent years. This weekend, people from all backgrounds are coming together for this celebration of Black history and culture. Guests can look forward to parade presented by Verizon, Grand Marshaled by Dr. Daddio. Elected officials will be in attendance. Headliners, Dave East and Twist, the main stage at 6 p.m. Saturday. Vibes in the Park hosting the 29th stage with local performances. Miles, the mascot of the Denver Broncos, joined by Broncos cheerleaders while playing Pongo. Meow Wolf wandering characters as surprise guests. The most beautiful things to include live DJs, mural by renowned local artist Chris Evans, aka Detour, and activations from Habitat for Humanity, Jack Daniels Block Party with Nearest Green exhibit and live mural, Youth Zone presented by Chevron with activations by the Colorado Avalanche, the Denver Nuggets, the Colorado Rapids, and the Colorado Mammoth. Live youth boxing match courtesy of the U.S. Boxing Association with the Denver Brotherhood of Police.
Oh my God.
And Sunday service with, Bishop Dimmer.
Oh my God.
That's the one that was sweeping homeless people off the steps of his church.
Oh my God.
Plus gospel performances. Yep.
Oh my God.
Or Absolute Word. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And then here's the video.
I was hiding in my tent when he snitched us out.
Okay, once again, everything that you said right there, Brother
Americans steeped in Black history.
I grew up here in Denver. I've been going to Juneteenth celebrations since I was a kid.
And those who are newer to the party.
For those of you all who didn't know what Juneteenth was, I got to be honest with you, I didn't either until a few years ago when I moved to Denver.
Different experiences, but a common goal.
I'm playing the video
for African Americans.
And the cool part about it is that all those organizations that you've named, at least 50% of them, the sponsor of the Chevron and what have you.
Yeah, Verizon.
Mm-hmm.
All white.
Okay, see, none of it is going to empower the Black community. See,
No.
this is what the fuck we've been talking about for the last 5 fucking years. You see, one about the tangibles and about being self-sufficient. And we say, Juneteenth, you see what I'm saying? And then there's those, the oppressor right there to go suck more about the community.
Oh, shit opened up next to...
just by even him advertising out there.
Yeah.
I'm so upset.
See, all the sponsors right there for all these Juneteenth events, you see what I'm saying? Just to show a little bit of self-sufficiency. There should be every major Black business out there that has a workforce of 50% or more Black folks.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's all corporatized.
Yes, sir, indeed. Of course it is. But at the same token, due to these brain dead motherfuckers out here who can't see that. You see what I'm saying? And this is why we created the hashtag resurrection of the mental dead.
Yeah.
Okay, now the cold part about it is all them crackers that own Chevron and all that, and who else did you say?
Verizon.
Okay, Black folks don't own that. The motherfucker who owns Verizon, he's the son bitch who went up there playing the first one to beat Space Cowboy.
Mm-hmm.
What about the Avalanche, the Broncos,
the NFL? Wait a minute, the National Football League and the National Hockey League is what you're talking about, right?
And the NBA.
They got the mascot, cheerleaders, white. Jack Daniels. Yeah, all white people.
And Black folks do not control the National Basketball Association.
This is fucking crazy. And the man that put this on, family, it's no secret that I was mad disrespectful. But that's no secret. That's just me, man. But I feel like, God, like, what is so hard about finding? What is so hard about this? Like, why does everything got to be all about this white dollars, right? That's really what it is.
They're saying that the only color that matters is green.
Right. Come on, man. You took the spirit out of it already. And, this is like, man.
Yeah, so it's all corporatized now.
It's all about money. We knew that when they had all those tents and they swept the homeless, and we knew that.
They didn't corporatize Juneteenth like they did the MLK parade.
Yep, we knew it, man.
You see,
This is tough to hear.
And this is what I'm saying. There's nothing that in these events like the MLK parade and all that emphasizes Black economical development and empowerment.
Right.
Or yes, you're right.
Not
or the tangible.
Right.
And not mentioning the tangible.
No.
Right.
The reparation.
No, it's all this kumbaya. Can we all just get along? But
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Very inclusive.
And excuse the expression, but that's a term I used to use about 40 years ago was the house nigga syndrome.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Well,
man.
there's a bunch of house niggas that advocated for this shit, so.
Yeah, they
Can't
went to
be
support.
surprised.
Where they gonna
And
bury
as
the
Brother
State
Malcolm
building?
said, you know, that
Yes,
even
you're
to
right.
this day, you still
Steakhouse.
got a lot of these house niggas out here.
Yeah.
I hate to say.
Yeah.
I'm very
So
sorry.
I was playing this video real quick. I was almost done with it, so I'm gonna finish the video and then
Start over. Let me see it.
I'll start it over.
Thank you, babe. That's it.
This weekend will celebrate freedom for African Americans steeped in Black history.
I grew up here in Denver. I've been going to Juneteenth celebrations since I was a kid.
And those who are newer to the party.
For those of you all who didn't know what Juneteenth was, I got to be honest with you. I didn't either until a few years ago when I moved to Denver.
Different experiences, but a common goal. Progress for African Americans.
And to be a part of the passage of Senate Bill 139 here at the
Senator
state legislature
Coleman,
for Juneteenth to be made a state holiday is everything.
Senator James Coleman and State Representative Leslie Herod worked together to mark June 19th statewide. It didn't take much.
As soon as that came out of our mouths, we had support from both sides of the aisle. We had the governor saying he will sign the bill. Very different atmosphere, and I think that shows how far we've come.
In May, Governor Jared Polis officially declared Juneteenth a state holiday. June 19th, 1865, the day the last slaves learned about the Emancipation Proclamation signed by President Abraham Lincoln earlier that year, embracing their freedom.
It's about the emancipation of African Americans from slavery. But here in Colorado, it's about everybody being free. Freedom to be able to live where you want, freedom to be able to work, freedom for education.
True freedom, 150 years later, finally being celebrated fully for the first time.
Colorado, we do honor Black folks. We do honor Black lives, Black liberation, but we do it together. We do it in celebration.
Okay, go ahead, Shabaka.
What does that mean?
Okay, well, firstly, there's a big difference, okay, between Black liberation, you see what I'm saying, and all this inclusiveness shit.
Yeah.
There's a huge difference between night and day, and we don't have to explain it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, just the platform that we got going on is self-explanatory on that. You see. Okay, but then what I've noticed since I've been back here in Los Angeles is that all through South Central, all the businesses are Latinally owned. And a lot of them are entrepreneurs out there selling goods and wares. And as Brother Eileen, you know, shows when he's over there in the alley over there off of Santee Street in Los Angeles in the wholesale district. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'll be going to visit it shortly. You see what I mean? Yeah, I might do like him. We'll do a live feed from there. All right. It just goes to show that they got cooperative economics going on, right? Okay. Number one, and plus they're self-sufficient, and what proves the self-sufficiency is the abundance of how you have their businesses out there, you know, canopies out there. Man, you go all up and down Central Avenue, man, and Avalon and Main Street toward downtown LA. That's all you see.
That's all you see.
Yeah, see. What I have noticed is that over there in the USC area, they totally have gentrified that area over there by the University of Southern California, plus the LA Metro Rail system, you know, goes through there now.
Yeah.
See. And then you got a lot of, you know, what they call them 5-star hotels built all up and down Figueroa that I'm saying. Downtown Los Angeles has tripled in its size since I've lived here last, which is over damn near 30 years ago. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, 25, 30 years ago. You see what I mean? And, you know, looking at it, you know, it's kind of like a time capsule, you know, being up close for the length of time that I've been here, just how much it deteriorated. And, you know, and the cold part about it is that the Black commerce and what have you, and Black cohesiveness, man, has evaporated just like water on the ground in the fucking desert.
Damn.
It's that bad. And the majority of Black people that I see out here in the city of Los Angeles, of the homeless population, that I see here in the city of LA, I should be saying, are black. I mean, you got people, man, living in tents, living in there for years, okay, 2 and 3 bedroom tents. I mean, they got so acquiesced to the situation, motherfuckers is out here, man, buying generators and all that old type of shit. And then the sad part about it is that it is going further west in it. You know, you got it all throughout the city.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty much. You see it in LA, San Francisco, Oakland, and then there was one individual that I saw on the news up there the last time I was in Oakland, who said he preferred not to pay no rent, to be homeless, where he ain't got to spend no money, he could do what the fuck he wants. And the first thing that came through my mind was, well, man, you must have some type of mental issue, man, because what about your fucking hygienics and your sanity?
Right.
Because you just say when your hygienics goes, that's the beginning of the insanity setting in.
Yep.
I mean, dude walking around, you know, on them, pissing shit on them right there, and got acquiesced to it. Fucked up down there for whatever reason.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna move to our next topic, and that is our boy, our B1 reparations candidate, Gregg Marcel Dixon, lost in the primary against good old Jim Clyburn of South Carolina. So it looks like Clyburn is going to secure another term of doing nothing for black people. So this article is from thestate.com, and it says South Carolina's sole Democrat, Jim Clyburn, fends off 2 challengers in primary race to secure 16th term. So he's been in office for 30 years, 30 plus now it's going to be, and he ain't done nothing specifically for black people, but yet it's a mainly black constituency that voted him back into office. So, unfortunately, black family, we cannot trust these old niggas. This nigga's been in office for 30 years. He ain't done nothing tangible for us, but yet he's doing something for all these other groups. So I'm gonna play the video real quick about Clyburn winning the primary election. After this stupid ad from Xfinity. True facts about Clyburn. He was elected president of NAACP Youth Chapter when he was 12 years old. Clyburn was the chair of the Congressional Black Caucus in 1999. Clyburn won South Carolina's 6th district race and became the first black congressman in the state since 1897. He assumed office on January 3rd, 93. So he's been in since 93. He initiated Clyburn became the House Majority Whip in 2006 and 2009. And nothing in there said he did anything specifically for black people.
My daughter's asked it.
And then it's going to read the article. So let's hear it.
SC sole Democrat Jim Clyburn fends off 2 challengers in primary race to secure 16th term. South Carolina's sole Democrat in Congress Jim Clyburn easily fended off 2 Democratic challengers in his primary race Tuesday to secure his 16th term. I hope that I am able to continue to serve the people of South Carolina in a way that will make all of them proud, and maybe get that other 10 or 12% that I didn't get tonight, Clyburn told reporters virtually after his race was called. Unofficial results Wednesday had Clyburn with nearly 88% of the vote.
Wow.
The State Election Commission will certify votes later this week. Clyburn, who will turn 82 in July, is likely headed to another 2-year term in Congress after he beat 2 long-shot Democratic challengers, Michael Addison and Gregg Marcel Dixon. Clyburn will face Republican challenger Duke Buckner, an attorney from Walterboro, in November after results showed Buckner with more than 70 percentage points. I've always enjoyed campaigning, and I don't see any reason why the voters should not vote with favor upon my candidacy, Clyburn told the state days ahead of the primary. I've always worked as hard as I possibly can to make what this country is all about as realistically as I possibly can for the folks who live in it. It's been the foundation upon which I've built my service. First elected in 1992, Clyburn is currently the 3rd. Just a quick word from our sponsor.
Companies innovating for the future are here, and they're looking for the brightest minds, the vaccine makers, the code breakers, the career climbers. So if you're ready for your tech career to take off, look to Maryland. From up-and-coming startups to pioneers in cybersecurity, biohealth, and aerospace, it's a tech hub you can actually afford to live in. With a lifestyle you can get behind. The innovators live here, and there's room for you.
The people like Clyburn,
ranking Democrat in the U.S. House, representing the 6th district that now stretches from Columbia to parts of Charleston, Lake City, and the state border near Savannah, Georgia. Clyburn said with the nearly 100,000 different people in his district due to reapportionment, people still know him well. For the first time, the entire peninsula of Charleston is in my district. You have to work very hard to find anybody on the Charleston Peninsula who is not familiar with me, Clyburn said in an interview with the state. I ran into a woman the other day who said, I've been waiting 30 years to cast a vote for you. Considered a kingmaker in South Carolina politics, Clyburn is largely credited with helping to send President Joe Biden to the White House after Clyburn endorsed the then presidential candidate ahead of the state's presidential primary after Biden failed to win in other early voting states. At a campaign rally over the weekend, Clyburn listed infrastructure investments that he's delivered to the district and the support he has given to the area, in and out of his congressional role, all of which he described as proof he is walking the walk. In Congress, Clyburn has been a public advocate for expanding broadband access, and he chaired a panel dedicated to the COVID-19 pandemic. I got a call from the Republican governor of South Carolina, Henry McMaster, and he said to me, because of what y'all have done, within 3 to 5 years, every house and every business in South Carolina is going to have broadband, Clyburn said. And I was walking around the Capitol, people started referring to me as Jim Broadband. Why? I wasn't just tall, I could walk. Democrats vying for Clyburn's seat say they plan to run again. Clyburn's 2 Democratic challengers told the state this won't be their last election. Addison, 65, is a chiropractor with a previous unsuccessful run for the South Carolina Senate. Addison said he has acquaintances with Clyburn and admires him, but said Clyburn is out of touch with local residents. Dixon, 37, is a teacher and Jasper County resident. Dixon ran on a campaign to repair Black America and said Clyburn has misled the district. Part of his campaign platform included a push for reparations for Black residents. Despite the candidates recognizing Clyburn's influential status, both said they were campaigning because of the district's struggles with increasing poverty and home ownership. In the week leading up to the election, both also said they plan to run again. Clyburn doesn't seem too worried. Now these opponents out there are just talking. They've never done a darn thing. They're running a campaign talking about what I have not done. There's a lot that I have not done. There's much more that I have not done than what I have done. But what I have done is much more than any of them has ever done, Clyburn told. I don't waste time arguing with people on what I have not done. I've been married to that. There's a lot I have not done. So I'm running for re-election on the record of what I have done, Clyburn added. Though Clyburn is favored to win his House race, back in Washington he faces the possible reality of his party losing control. Every prediction, I think they're pretty accurate, is going to be that the Republicans are going to win the majority of the House in November, and so that would put him back in the position of a minority leader, said Bob Oldendick, an emeritus professor at the University of South Carolina with a near 30-year career studying South Carolina politics. So there's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of things that have to take place before, I think, Rep. Clyburn makes any firm decisions about what his future might be. This story was originally published June 14, 2022, 8:17 p.m.
Oh man, that goddamn Clyburn. So South Carolina has selected Jim Clyburn for a 16th term.
Wow.
And he's going to face a Republican in November for the Senate, for the House of Representatives seat.
Mm-hmm.
And he ain't
so
done
he's
nothing.
Going after the Senate. He's going to try to be the senator from South Carolina.
No, he's still doing House.
Okay.
He's still House. But this Negro ain't done nothing for black people since he been in office. We're supposed to live vicarious through him because he was elected to the NAACP at 12 years old. Come on, no man. He led the Black Caucus since 1999. No wonder the Congressional Black Caucus ain't worth a damn.
Right.
Right.
He been in office since '93. He endorsed Jim Crow Biden.
Right. And once again, all you Biden supporters are welcome once again, and particularly here in California with the highest price of gas, to call in 516-418-5996 on our next show on Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced. And definitely check out our Twitter handle at Shabaka capital EXP for our next upcoming episodes. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to try to do a marathon, with it being, a lot of Black History celebrations coming up here with Juneteenth all the way into August, for Marcus Garvey Day celebrations and whatnot. And we're going to be emphasizing, as we stated before, dealing with the Black experience from the beginning of time to 10 minutes ago.
Mm-hmm. Facts. Lady Che.
I agree. I agree.
Anything to add about Jim Clyburn being reselected?
Well, once again, his brother Malcolm had laid it out, 60 years ago, nothing has changed. You still see the elements there, and I doubt it very, very seriously if he's going to introduce any type of bill into the U.S. Congress, in regards to tangibles.
Yeah, he has it for the past 30-something years, almost 30 years. It's been almost 30 years.
Right. But however, there is an awareness about it, is because California, with its reparations law that they had passed in recently.
Yeah, AB 21 or AB 3121.
Yes, sir. And what it is that you got to prove your
lineage.
Your lineage to slavery.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
In the South.
And in the South, and mine has been proven to, you know what I mean, and documented.
Well, this is where my folks is from, South Carolina.
Okay, and mine enslaved on the plantations of Alabama.
Okay.
And as you know, Brother Paris, when I was on the road, when I was riding and you was hosting the show and I was going through Florida, and what have you, and on Interstate 10, and it's interesting, the same Interstate 10 would take you all the way from Jacksonville, Florida to Santa Monica, California, from ocean to ocean, that it will do.
Yeah.
Okay, and on the way, riding through Florida, then went up to Georgia, and then Alabama, it's kind of like I'm listening to the wind. And, hearing the voices long ago of my ancestors on that land, toiling that toil.
Right.
See, and what have you. And then, of course, not to mention, other ancestors, who were on there and who were sold back and forth to various places.
Yes.
And yeah, make sure. And I made sure, I kept the gas tank full and kept it heading westbound,
Right.
And then, got across Louisiana, you see. But that was mainly at night. But saw a lot of weeping willow trees and what have you. You see.
Yeah.
And as I said, the song kept going through my mind, by Billie Holiday, and I think Diana Ross did make an album with Billie Holiday songs that she played in a film she played in called Lady Sings the Blues. And that was made 50 years ago. And as we all know, Strange Fruit, talk about the black body swinging in the southern breeze.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. You see, yeah. And, this is just incredible of how when you ride through such places knowing that your blood had shedded on that land, they say, how the fuck you ain't gonna want some reparations?
Right. All right. So we're down to our last two topics of the night. Okay. Unhoused neighbor news and unhoused neighbor sweeps.
Yes, family. As you can tell, I'm very sick. Super swollen with my hurt. And this is just excessively swollen. So I didn't make the sweep this week. Nothing had really changed because they were getting ready for Juneteenth. They swept all the unhoused from the area that I currently like to patrol. That was a given. There's a upcoming event. I believe it's hosted by
House Keys
Action Network. So we're going to try to tap into that because Jerry Burton's involved. We try to support him a little bit. The way it depends, Sometimes I hate to say it, but sometimes it happens that way. But it goes both ways. I believe that they should support us too. And it's tough though. It's tough when I say House Keys Action Network because when I tried to talk to them, when we went to go and discuss our friend Dwayne Peterson, there will be updates on that coming hopefully this week. Mr. Peterson was very sick, or wasn't sick. I apologize. I take that back. He was taking care of his health last week. So he did provide some updates, but I'm going to try to see if I can pull him on the revolutionary agenda again, and maybe like a little bit of Frontline Black News. We'll try to see if we can work that out, because there was some updates. So I've been going really hard about that. Other than that, House Keys Action Network tried to talk to Therese Howard and I asked her directly how we could be involved since they're no longer Denver Homeless Out Loud. It's still kind of like the same similar vibe. Just, I don't understand how people change their name and they act like they're a different entity.
Yeah.
So, we have to pretend like they're a different entity, and so I tried to start off like they were a different entity. And I'm just going to keep it 100. There's a strange racist vibe that goes on with us and her. It's kind of like they don't talk about it, but it's really there. We can feel it. So, but we try to ignore it, like most people, so that we can work for the people. And she seemed verbally receptive, but body language was not so receptive.
Yeah.
But in all actuality, I believe that it should behoove them to want to work with us and us work with them for the betterment of the people. However, given that there's these, in my opinion, these racist body language signs and non-direct signals, they really don't want to. However, mutual aid Monday is always good for working with us. We do get a lot of help from the city council lady, our city councilwoman, Candy Shibaka. So we try to help her too, because ultimately we just want the people to get better and want the people to be housed. We want the people to be treated humanely. We want the people to have what they need adequately, and we want the government and the people that are in charge now to stop spending their money and start actually doing the right things. So we're all working together with the councilwoman because she seems to be the main one that's receptive to us. And so sweeps continue, family. And this week, there's one coming up on Thursday. I already hit the accept button, so I'll be there. And it's gonna be okay. So I just want to say thank you for watching us at Frontline Black News. I apologize for me being over here. I'm just extremely swollen, and I got a lot of water in my heart. It's been really, really rough for me this last couple of days. I feel is just extremely heavy and just full of fluid. And I apologize, family. I also want to say that I and Jesse are going to be making a couple of different, more professional changes in the way we do our broadcast now, because it's probably for the, I guess some people want to see actual politicians. I feel like we should just change the narrative, in my opinion, and just be ourselves, and that's more authentic. Considering that we've been taking these strenuous landmark forum classes and betterment seminars to be better people for this city. So I feel like there needs to be authenticity and integrity and just being ourselves. Now we might make some concessions. I am definitely working on my things that are kind of like a little bit rough around the edges. Like I'm working on my cussing, family. I can't guarantee anything. I'm definitely not gonna hold back. And I'm working on just getting just being a little bit more presentable, I guess, in my words. I'm always gonna be eccentric, I'm gonna be me. But I feel like maybe I should work on my cursing a little bit. However, that's just where I am, man. Like, just who I am. But I feel like if I've changed and I've made some educational changes, I can work on that too. So that's what I'm trying to focus on. It's one of my goals that I got set up to lessen that, and to do, just to change, on my end, family. My change is more dramatic, and it's a very long process. Okay, so I wouldn't really expect that much out of me, and I will make an attempt to be better at my cursing. I just feel like, man, I'm just so angry and passionate that that's the way I am, and I'm just gonna do better. I'm gonna work on a few other little factors because y'all don't understand. I have a fifth grade education because I'm a product of the system. So everything I've learned over these last years has been self-taught. Everything. I read. I'm a speed reader, a proficient peripheral speed reader, and I speak like one different language that I learned from the television. I read. I teach myself things because knowledge is valuable. Reading is fundamental, boys and girls. Don't get it twisted. You know, reading is important. I read all day long. I've had a love for reading since I was a small child. I just couldn't, I'm a product of the system. and it's terrible. So now that I'm an adult and I'm doing different things like being a productive member of the city and wanting to stand on that, wanting other people to feel this feeling I'm feeling, which is being of service and doing things that are good instead of nefarious or illegal or on borders on degeneracy, whatever that is. I feel like I gotta change certain talking things and learn how to word things better. I didn't do a lot of talking before, but since I do broadcast with Jesse and I have my own, and I'm on Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced, I have to find a better way to express myself without diluting the message, because the message is Black first. The message is that. The message is the Black agenda. The message is the people and doing the right things. That's the message. So let's not let anything deflect from that. I just think that I see if I can change this far from the start of like a year and a half, Jesse?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a year and a half. You've watched a year and a half of growth, family. From who I really am. You've seen me grow in a year and a half. What is new to you is not new to me. You know what I mean? What the web is seeing, I've been like this my whole life. But you're watching a different change into a person, into integrating into society that was having a hard time adjusting to that. You might as well treat me like I was a institutionalized individual, except outwardly. So that feralness has to come out and have to be productive. And white people are never going to take me seriously. They don't even look at me. They barely talk to me. They ignore me. They don't answer my questions. I gotta talk to them like this, in this manner, in this tone, in order for me to be heard or my words to be taken seriously. So I am not going to change that. Yeah, I personally, I've grown accustomed to it. I like it that way. Okay, I like it that way. They've never been nice to me. Let's not start now. You know what I mean? You've never accepted me. You never helped me. Let's not start now. Just you know what I mean? I don't like the behaviors. So let's not. I don't want to reinvent the wheel. I want to be more tolerable, I guess. I just want to change. Maybe this. I don't know why I want to do it. I feel like Jesse wanted me to do it. You know what I mean? But as I'm growing, the language is changing. I'm learning more words. I'm doing. It seems stupid to everybody else, but it's really important to me. And you would never believe how intelligent I am in this year. You're seeing it, and no one really saw that because I didn't let no one see that. But I study a lot. I read a lot, and I want everybody to have the same experience. I want everybody to be able to grow from this ugliness that's clouding our cities. You know what I mean? So I want to thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you, Brother Shabaka, Black Power.
Always.
You know what I mean? Thank you, Jesse, for putting on this program tonight. Happy Juneteenth. I think it's past Juneteenth right now, right?
It's Juneteenth now.
It's Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth, Black family, Black Power. And just keep in mind that we are still in a state of emergency, and we are at war, regardless of what you see on the news with these supremacists. They're targeting the LGBTQ community. That's a deflection from us being the main threat, Black family. So stay Black, stay dangerous, and it's okay. We have each other's back, and let's do some different shit. It's a new world. We need to change that narrative and create it for us. I'm not gonna ask them no more. We're gonna start making changes. You want to be the change? Be the change. You know what I mean? And always Black empowerment. Have a happy Juneteenth. Be safe. Jesse?
Yeah.
And close statement. I already gave everybody a. Oh, Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced, Tuesday, 10 o'clock or 7 o'clock. And the number, Jesse, is 516, right?
418 5996.
5996. Join me for the Revolutionary Agenda sometime after tomorrow, sometime after the festivities will be in the evening. Thank you. Thank you, Brother Shabaka. Just say goodbye. Yeah, this is your probably asleep. Close the show out, baby.
Yeah, so thank y'all for tuning in to season 2, episode 14 of the Frontline Black News. We will be back next week with a brand new episode, so make sure you tune into that. In the meantime, make sure you check us out on frontlinecampaign.org. That's also the campaign website, Jesse for Denver. And check us out on our other platforms, Black Experience Enhanced on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and the Revolutionary Agenda. Peace, love, light, and Black empowerment.
Stay safe.
And stay dangerous.
Yes.